You all must have heard I'm a real nerd. People say I'm a fool, but they never got the news that I'm a vile one. Oh yeah, I'm a wild one. You better turn it up, better keep the channel down, cause you're watching VileMike and his real wild child. Oh yeah, I'm a wild one. You better turn it up, better keep the channel down, cause you're watching VileMike and his real wild child.
Jafar, buy an SD game swap. Creed.
Oh, and I'm going to do my weekly. I did do a loaf. It just came out of the oven. So I'm going to do the weekly loaf display. Just hang on a second here.
All right, hold on.
Can't touch it. Oh, don't.
While you're doing that, I'll bring up the StreamYard's discount thing to see if anyone clicks on that, I'll get a free month.
Ooh, look at that nice loaf.
Wait, do me a favor, pinch the loaf.
What's that?
Pinch the
I
loaf.
started to hear.
Do me a favor, pinch the loaf.
I did.
No. That's an American expression.
It's an American expression having to do with fecal matter.
Oh, right. Pinch the loaf. Gotcha.
I gotta pinch the loaf, man. I'm pinching the loaf.
All right. No more of the crazy bushy hair. I was hiking in the rain. It was just raining the whole hike yesterday. And so today still my hair was like out in the rain. So it just dried like a big old bush. And so we're going to not have my hair on stream.
Well,
Hey, since this is Nerd Chat, has anybody seen the new fan-made anime Star Trek that they're trying to get Netflix? It's getting a lot of promotion. Has anybody seen the fan-made trailer?
No.
It's an anime version. It looks like it's wow. I'm like, holy shit, this is fan-made. They made Chekhov look just like Anton. It's the TOS crew, but Chekhov looks just like Anton. I'm like, wow, this is some great
Who's doing
shit.
it? Like what fans? Is it like famous fans or just like random
guy.
people with AI?
Let me get
Like, are they
the thing
using
right here.
AI to create it, or is it like hand created?
Let me get this because I just ran across it. I was watching it before it popped on here. Let's see.
Because if it's just AI, it's less impressive.
Powered by AI generated art and animation, but it actually looks fucking good.
Well,
yeah.
Hey, I'll do this, okay? You guys can watch it at your own leisure. I'll put it in a public chat, okay? You guys can watch a little video at your own leisure. It just looks really awesome. I'm not that big a fan of anime, but I'm like, wow, this is great.
All right, I'll check it out later.
Okay.
I can't stay for
I'm real hesitant when it comes to a lot of the AI art stuff.
I know.
Yeah, me too. But I was watching this. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, it's not that I don't think it looks
Chekhov.
good. It's just that I don't want to support that sort of. I just don't want to support that. Right?
If it's okay, I'll give you an example of one of the methods I actually support, but only because I technically own those images. There's the 3 avatars that I have, the 2 that Yitzi made and the one that Stephanie's friend made. I literally paid for those to be made. I had to like convince Stephanie's friend to frickin' take the damn money, but I paid for them under the agreement. We both have ownership of them because I told Yitzi that if he wants to use that avatar to advertise for himself as well and promote his own art, I encouraged him to do so.
Yep.
So that's one of the reasons why it's still on his website, because I'm like, if you're creating it, you should have at least partial ownership of it, even if I'm paying for it. And yes, I did pay Yitzi. Again, I had to convince him to take the fucking money, but I did pay him. Now, if I insert those 3 art pieces into an AI program and they use only those 3 art pieces because I own them to create a new one, that I could accept. Because I own those 3 images.
If you get paid, sure, yeah.
But I don't want to, like the ones, you kind of made for me, Elihu, using the AI art thing. I wouldn't feel comfortable really using those. I did post them to the Facebook account because I thought they were funny as all fuck because of how bad they were. But I don't feel comfortable using other people's art that I don't control, that is not my property, to create something.
Yeah. As a person who creates art, I don't like to, I think I do like it because it allows people who don't have super awesome, like, physical skills to create art. It does allow them to, like, have a vision of something and bring it into, create that thing, right? So it does make that, like, need to actually be able to, like, take a pencil and draw a picture of a tree, right? Or say you have some, like, really cool idea that you want to, like, manifest, but you don't have physical skills to do it. It does allow you to do that, right? So I do like it for that. But on the same token, I think people actually creating their own art, is also really valuable.
Yeah. I would also say that if you're using publicly available, stuff that's in the public domain, I don't have an issue with it.
Right.
It's when I've literally seen people, and I'm not going to say what website specifically, but they'll be like, "Oh, I like this person's art," so they'll feed every image that person has put into a AI program, and then say, "I want you to draw, this character, a character that artist has never drawn before, and make it look like this artist's work," and then they'll post that onto their sorry, I was confused by the thing for a second. Is there a reason you posted that, Captain? Because I'm just confused as to why.
Maybe he's just stoned.
Out of maybe he watched the link and it made sense to post that. Like, would there be something relevant in the link you posted, Elihu, if you watched that trailer?
Yeah, probably. But
Okay.
yeah,
There we go.
probably.
But it's just like when you post, now you're posting someone else's art style as your own, and you're not telling them that you used an AI program.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is kind of disingenuous. If you're going to do that, definitely credit the person that you train the AI on, and 2, say that it's AI generated.
Well, usually you can tell that part. But yes.
Oh, okay. So today's the anniversary. I was confused. I didn't even see the fact that today was the anniversary of his death. I'm sorry. Wait, no, this is 12/8/19. That's not the anniversary. Oh, his birthday today. Never mind. I'm so fucking confused.
That's okay.
Hold on. I know how to make myself less confused. I'm putting some whiskey in my coffee.
There you go. That'll help. Good morning, Mrs. Cardenas, Mrs. Vile, whatever we're
Hola,
gonna call you
Mrs.
today.
Cardenas. Hola, Mr. Cardenas.
How you doing, babe?
Buenos dias.
Missed you yesterday. Although Mrs. Vile did provide the birthday cake. I brought it back over the border early that morning. And I will say, this is the first time in weeks that I did not get sent to secondary.
No, good. That's good.
It still took me like an hour and a half to cross the damn border, despite the fact that I left at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I'm not going to get political, but they only had 2 gates open the entire time out of 13. Because they don't have the manpower, and one of them gates is manned by Sentry. That's a third-party company. That means they had one person at the entire at the Otay border crossing, guarding the border. One person.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Crazy shit going on, my friends.
But I'm not going to go political on that. It was just something,
No, I know. It would be so easy, but we'll not do that.
But okay, for what I was saying about the tough day I had yesterday. Okay, so by the time I got to Mrs. Vile's place last night, it was like 11 o'clock, midnight-ish, before we even thought about going to bed. Had to wake up at 4 to cross the border. Took me about an hour and a half to cross the border. Went up to my storage unit, which doesn't open until 7. So by that time, it was about, if you include the drive from the border to my storage unit, it was now about 6 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on my today's video. So I posted it. I worked on the video. I posted it. It got flagged by YouTube. So I had to re-edit it and repost it to YouTube. By that time, it was 7 o'clock. It took me longer to get everything from the storage unit into the car. Then had to pick up a few things for the party still. Pick up the kids. Go back to my house to grab the food because I left most of the food at the fridge at my house. Finally get to the beach about just before 11. Set up the canopies, the tables, the grill, start grilling stuff. And up until this point, Vile Style, for her birthday, invited 30 of her friends to come to the party at the beach.
Yep.
Up until
I told her, you know, I want your friends to have their parents contact me so that I know who's coming and I have access to their phone numbers. That way, if something happens, I can call them. Up until that point, only 4 of her friends had done that in the last month.
Oh, geez.
So I'm like, okay, not many people are going to show up. This is great. No, in just prior to 1 o'clock, another 8 of her friends all had their parents message me.
Of course.
And then, of course, because he's already got his license, one of my other daughter's boyfriends and 2 of his friends showed up too. So now it went from 4 to 15 fucking teenagers.
Well, plus there was probably the randos that just showed up, like, who, like, you know, oh, look, food. And they just sort of pretended they were part of the party.
Well, the only person that did that was one of the late arrivals was a girl and her dad, and her dad ended up staying for a few hours too and hanging out while I grilled up the last of the meat.
Right.
But so it was nice to have at least another actual adult there. And of course, then sorry, I said Stephanie earlier, Caddy shows up with her boyfriend later on. So altogether, it ended up being like 20 people. And I'm like, crap, I only brought 18 hamburgers, 20 hot dogs.
Well, you know, people just have to make do.
So, and the funny thing is, most of the meat didn't get eaten. They mostly stuck to eating chips and soda.
Well, there you go. Easy peasy. I know sometimes it's like so easy to like think you've underprepared for a party, and it turns out you've actually overprepared.
No, I thought I was over preparing.
Yeah.
Oh, then I find out I may have underprepared, and then it ends up I still over prepared.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that's good.
But we hold on. We ended up staying at the beach until 7 o'clock or after 7 o'clock at night. By the time I dropped off the kids, it was 8 o'clock. By the time I unloaded my car a little bit at the house, it was almost 9, and I didn't end up going to bed until well after 11 o'clock again.
And yet here you are, bright and early, bushy-tailed.
I am caffeinated. And of course, I woke up at 5 o'clock to try to get ready for the stream. And of course, instead of getting up, my knee was killing me. Because, you know, lifting all the heavy coolers and the canopies and everything, I'm like, I don't want to walk to my car because I don't think you guys know. I live in a mobile home park, but we only have enough room for 1 parking space, and we got 3 cars between us, or sorry, 4 cars between us.
Right.
So my 2 cars are parked on the street, which is a good, I don't know, 400 or 500 meter yard walk.
Right.
And I just didn't want to walk it because my knee was killing me.
You live a tough life.
And of course, Mrs. Viles, I'm proud of you. You were in charge of 20 teenagers like a teacher of a private school, because that's what she is.
Oh. Maybe that's the real reason she didn't want to go. Like, yeah, I'm worried about crossing the border, but really, I just don't want to hang out with 20 teenagers. Good call.
But I will show this. This is probably going to be added to the rotation of Vile Children clips. So I'm going to play this real quick.
3, 2, 1. It's cold.
Happy birthday, sweetheart.
So worth it.
Oh, and the funniest part was afterwards we realized that the silly string isn't biodegradable, so they all had to pick it up.
Oh, Jesus.
My weekend was very interesting. So I get a hotel near St. Louis. I'm just going to say St. Louis, even though it's my hometown on the other side of the river. And I go over to where my grandson's staying at. And my daughter didn't know I was coming because I told her, I said, I don't know. I mean, seriously, I didn't know if my health was going to be able to handle it. So I managed to get out there. She was shocked. We had a little coming to Jesus time because she hadn't seen me in a while. And it's like, oh shit, my dad really is fucking sick. Look at him. He's thin. He's lost all his muscle mass. It's like he's walking around cane. I'm like, gee, no shit. Yeah, when I told you I was pretty fucked up, I'm pretty fucked up. And so we go to the ball game, watch the St. Louis versus the Diamondbacks. She comes over later tonight at my hotel, keeps me up late. Then she goes home. I go next morning. We have the birthday party. And when you talk about overdoing or underdoing, my daughter made hors d'oeuvres. She bought 2 pizzas and she was soaking up chicken wings. They ate the hors d'oeuvres. They ate the pizza and everybody was gone before the chicken wings got out. I was like, I looked at Steve and I was like, wow, that was pretty fucking rude to everybody. And, you know, he had a good time. It was fun. I got him a little motorized Jeep. Next day, I headed back home. Monday, I headed back home. My wife's family was here. We had a little bit of a cookout together. Everything going fine. I'm going to lay down. I woke up at 2:30 in the morning out of a dead sleep in extreme abdominal pain. I mean, I've never been in pain like that in my life. So I get an ambulance. I'm at the ER. They give me morphine to get the pain to go away. Hell, I didn't even know they had put the morphine in my IV yet. Next day, I get a draining of 23 pounds of fluid. Spend another day in there for observation. And anybody who knows when you go to a hospital and you're in the ER, you don't actually sleep. They come in there checking, monitoring, doing this, that, and the other. So I'll finally get out Friday. Yesterday, I went with my daughter and my 14-year-old went out to the mall. She got her. Well, before we did that, I surprised her and let her get her navel pierced. She didn't have to wait till her birthday. That surprised her. Then we went up to the mall, picked up some stuff. She got some Hot Topic stuff, a few other places. I got some nice toys to display now. I'll show them to y'all in a little bit. But, and I got a draining again tomorrow. So I'm currently 218 or 220. So if they pull the same amount off of me again, I'll be about 200, 198.
Pounds?
Yeah. They drained out over 40 pounds off me.
Ounces.
I was just confused.
Yeah, I wish I could burn off 40 pounds. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
not by being sick, but I just wish I could lose 40 pounds.
Same here.
You don't want to lose it like
No,
no.
not that way. I realize that's a
Yeah.
stupid thing to say. It's not like the right way to do it, and I don't mean to minimize your suffering like at all. I was just making a stupid joke.
Yeah, I understand.
No,
The whole-
there was. Oh, sorry. But it was reminding me of a guy. I've been seeing his videos on TikTok. Apparently, he's lost like 200 pounds by doing like live streams on TikTok where he walks, and the amount of support that he's getting on it was immense. And I'm like, maybe I should do something like that because I'm 300 pounds and I need to get down to like 220.
There do seem to be some very supportive people if you like hit the right like algorithm. There's a lot of people out there who are trying to like spread goodness on the internet. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm certainly not going to like rail on people for like their appearance, right? Like that's just not something they can necessarily help.
my
Hey guys, something
go-
changed,
go-
guys.
so
I gotta
anyways,
Hold on, Olay. Let MB finish because I interrupted him to tell his stupid little story. But go ahead, finish your story, MB.
all right, so this will be, let's see, this will be the fourth time I've gone through this procedure. It's an outpatient procedure, but when they take that much off of me, then I have to get albuterol put in, and it takes days and it takes a while to recover. I mean, you're draining that much fluid because it's not fat they're draining out of me, it's fluid.
Yeah.
And there's not a damn thing I can do about that, but other than get it drained out and do what I've been doing. But it is what it is. Hopefully that won't happen again because, oh my God, that pain was horrific. So I was literally up for 36 hours yesterday, and then my wife lay with me about 9:30, and I was going to get back up and do some after she left, and I must have just crashed out like within a minute afterwards.
Well, sometimes the best thing you can do is sleep.
Oh, trust me, I needed it bad. But I'd also promised my daughter I was going to take her out today.
I'm pretty sure all my kids are going to be sleeping in today, unlike me.
Yeah.
My son's going to be 18 this year, so I'm going to look at maybe I'm going to work with him, see about getting him a nice rifle for Christmas.
Just make sure that he's trained to use it first. The same thing I told my sister, and that's what pissed her off.
Who do you think's been training him?
Well, as I said, I just want training involved.
Of course I taught training. Of course I teach training. I make my kids.
I mean, hell, I want to be able to take my son hunting, and part of it is his mom is really against it, apparently.
Well, I make my son go through. I make my kids anytime we went out. I said, "What are the rules?" And they run through them with me because I'm like, "You got to say the rules before I'll let you have it." Every damn time. I've also taught them how to properly clean it, how to check it, check the barrel. I don't know why people don't think. You see those stupid movies where somebody blocks the barrel. It's like, you're supposed to check the barrel.
All right, guys, I'm going to boogie because I'm going out for waffles this morning. Waffles.
Oh, well, Dandelion, what I was going to say, that should affect you.
Okay.
In case you guys haven't heard, a powerful G4 storm erupted about 37 hours ago, which means there's a 90% probability that anything above the 45-degree angle in the United States has a high probability of seeing the aurora tonight.
Oh, nice. I love that. I'll definitely go.
That's why I said this affects you.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I'm pretty far north, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay,
basically
so you meant
Maine,
solar
Minnesota.
storm.
Yeah.
I was confused what you were talking about because I'm like, a G4 storm. There's a hurricane coming, but that's F.
Oh.
And I was.
I knew what he meant.
Dude, I'm an astronomer, okay? I don't talk weather. I'm not a meteorologist.
I need you to specify frickin' if it's a solar storm or a normal weather storm.
I got some great photos last year because, of course, I'm out in the middle of nowhere. So, and actually, my landlord, he's from India, so he cut down all the trees because that's what they do. And so I got a much better view of the sky now. So, I mean, the trees were like not great trees. They were like poplars and shit. They were just like messy, dropping branches and shit all the time. So I'm not like questioning that, but it's just, anyway. So I have a much wider view of the sky now. So I'm hoping that I might, if there's a good solar storm, I'll get some photographs.
If you have an iPhone and you are in the US, put your phone on night mode.
Yeah, no, I have an iPhone and it does take really good photos at night because
Okay. Because the rods in our eyes are different than
the
phone
fact that your hands wiggle. It accounts for the fact that your hands wiggle and it does a lengthy exposure. So it's actually, you get pretty good. And even if you can't see the aurora and you're looking up, use your phone because your phone camera will pick up the colors that you don't see with your eyes. I know for me last year, the colors on the photographs were a lot more intense than the ones that I was seeing. So that was actually
because the rods in your eyes cannot pick up certain wavelengths. That's why.
Exactly, and your camera actually does. So it's definitely, if you don't see shit, just put your camera up and look through the viewfinder that way. So anyway,
if you don't see anything above your head, look at the horizon.
Well, I can't see the horizon. There's still trees all around me, so no.
If you're not sure which way is north, face the direction the sun. Just face the direction the sun sets, and make a 90-degree angle to your right. That's
if
north.
You have your phone has a compass on it. You can use that. Most of us know which way is north.
I'm talking layman's terms.
But I appreciate the suggestion. I know which way is north. That's where the mountains live.
Okay.
Well, the closest mountains live north. They actually live all around me, but there's some to the north. All right.
Well, to go back to the nice stuff, and later, Dandelion.
Bye, guys.
Later.
Enjoy your waffles. One of the things that was I felt proud about being a former bike rider, and by that I mean motorcycle. I was on. Mrs. Vile likes to send me reels, and I send her stuff too all the time. But I was scrolling through the reels, and there comes up a video of this woman, very nice body. She's wearing, a bikini and a fishnet body stocking, along with a motorcycle helmet, riding her bike down the freeway at like 100 miles an hour. And about half of the freaking comments were all from people saying, "You're beautiful, but please don't do that ever again. Wear some leathers, wear some protection. You don't want to become a skid mark on the freaking pavement. Don't." And I was like, you'd think it was just a bunch of horny guys saying like, "Oh yeah, you're so hot, blah blah blah." But no, most of it was people like, "Please put safety first." And it made me really happy because that was my first thought too. Was not ooh boobs. It was that ain't safe.
Yeah.
Oh, and hold on, and MB. The reason I put that in the chat was when you sneezed. That's one of the things I say when people sneeze. I just thought it was funny.
Oh, gotcha. Before we got on the last the politics stream, I was watching this thing on Shawshank Redemption, kind of like, I guess, like a 25th behind the scenes anniversary scene. And here's some interesting things we didn't know. One of the things was a lot of these characters, the actors, they created backstories for their characters. Not that you knew that, but it actually was how they fleshed out their characters. So, like, for example, you had Morgan Freeman, who said, Red was probably, a guy who worked with, I guess, like maybe the Black Underground or something like that in the 30s, He said he was probably doing that stuff, and, then the murder happened, and he was in a good, influential position. He had power, and then he lost it all, and he said that's how he was able to work with the whole thing with Dufresne's character, with the Dufresne character. So he's like another guy who had influence and stuff and lost everything.
I still stick by the joke that because the character was originally in the Stephen King novella Irish, and how they did the line, "Well, why do they call you Red?" And he goes, "No, I think it's because I'm Irish."
Yeah.
Because it's the same freaking line from the book, but a completely different context because of the actor playing him.
Yeah. One of the other things too was the jail was real, right? It was a closed down jail. It's actually in Cincinnati.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So they said, yeah, the real prison. Clancy Brown said, he's like, man, there was just something about you changed when you walked through those gates. Tim Robbins' character said in between takes, he would sometimes go sit in the cell, get the claustrophobic feel out of the 6x8s. Yeah, apparently the studio wanted to cut the entire Brooks thing out completely because he was just a minor character in the book, but he was a footnote in the book, but his character was fleshed out in the movie and they wanted to take him out. And I'm like, and he fought with it. He goes, no, this is all parallel to this, get busy living or get busy dying. Well, you had Dufresne, who never gave up hope, no matter what. You had Red, who just didn't know what to do with himself. He had given up on hope a long time ago. And then you had Brooke, who was the institutionalized man, the one who this is all he knew until those walls became his home. And go into the outside world, I mean, he couldn't handle it. So he chose death. I mean, there's really a lot of interesting parallels. The final scene where Red and Dufresne meet on the beach, studio wanted to cut that out. They said the movies are too long, it's unnecessary. He said, no, if we just get him on the bus and do that, we don't get the conclusion that they both made it. It's like that scene has to happen. Ironically, that was the very first scene they shot before they even started doing the prison stuff. Also, a lot of the extras were former inmates of the prison that they were in. So he wanted to get authentic looks. So he hired a lot of people who had been in that prison. And so he said, when you see them doing the banging and stuff and the weather beating, goes, that's not acting. That's just what they remembered. So,
yeah, I did see an article related to Shawshank Redemption in my feed. I didn't read it because I didn't have time this morning.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the headline was something about a possible reboot to Shawshank Redemption.
No.
I'm trying to see if I can find it, but it's not in my feed now.
No.
Why? No. Why? Do not.
Well, I'm just saying it was in my feed. It said something to do with Stephen King doing something that could pave the way for it.
No, the only thing I read about Stephen King was an It prequel. That's the only thing I read about it.
Yeah, I am actually going to watch that when it comes out. It's supposed to be like set in the 50s. And Skarsgård's coming back as Pennywise.
Yes.
Hey, if we're going to do a prequel to something, it is definitely the way to go.
All right. I'm going to play a video from one of the ones I posted this week. If you guys aren't watching it, my shorts, because I think we could talk about, since we're talking about the possible, a possible reboot for Shawshank, it's kind of related. So hold on. Let me go to my things and which one? I think it's this one.
Where are you taking me? Area 51?
Please. They wish they had our security.
Slow down. What are you doing? think I'm blind.
Relax, that almost never happens.
Oh, man, what did I just sign?
Welcome to Eureka.
I have that series.
Okay, so one of the questions I asked was, should it be rebooted? Because, we haven't had anything in almost 20 years regarding the show. And, the question is mostly to try to get some people to engage in the thing. But, yeah, since we're talking about reboots, should shows like Eureka be rebooted?
The Librarians has already been rebooted, and so far it's actually pretty good.
I thought the Librarian was a continued. The Librarians was a continuation of the Librarian.
Yeah, it is. It is a continuation. They picked it up after a couple of years.
That's
of
not a
hiatus.
reboot, then.
Back.
That's like saying Leverage Redemption was a reboot. No, it wasn't. It was a continuation.
Yeah, it's like saying Star Trek: The Next Generation was a reboot. No, it's a continuation. I'm talking about like a full-fledged reboot, like
Harry Potter.
Well, yeah, like the Harry Potter movies versus the series that they're working on, or Battlestar Galactica was a reboot. Star Trek, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek, I consider a reboot. I know they try to do some timey-wimey stuff to say it isn't, but it is.
It's a reboot.
It's a reboot.
So, but like, I think Eureka could easily be rebooted, and I think it's one of the ones that deserves a reboot.
What about Warehouse 13?
I'll look at it this way. If you do it without making too many references to the original series being, 20 years later and stuff, go for it. Let's take. What was I thinking? Oh, there was some that was rebooted and done.
By the way, Ryan Coolidge is in talks to reboot the X-Files.
Where's I going with that? Shit. That's what happens when you guys interrupt me. Something.
And I'll be.
Okay,
Go ahead.
example, I would say something that I'm totally fine with being rebooted. Highlander.
Cavill? Yeah.
Yeah, I could see Highlander being rebooted.
Cavill, yes. Cavill would definitely be the right person for the role. He's already shown his sword talent that he can do with playing The Witcher.
Well, let's see. Highlander is in development with Cavill set as McLeod, with Statsky, the guy who directed John Wick. It started filming in September 2025, and the release is 27, early 2028. So it's already in production.
That's awesome. See, it doesn't need to be. See, the problem with it, the thing is, we don't need to be doing like the first one did with Connor, and end it all on him getting the prize.
I'm sorry. Cavill's quote is saying, quote, "If you think you've seen me do sword work before, you haven't seen anything yet." Okay, I like that quote.
Say that again.
He said, quote, "If you think you've seen me do sword work before, you haven't seen anything yet."
Are we going to have somebody playing Ramirez?
I'm not sure. All I have, the information right here, is that Cavill's the only one known to be leaked as the star in the show, but they haven't released any other actors or who's the fight coordinator yet. They just did the director and the time date and Cavill. That was it. That's the only information I got.
Oh, here's something I picked up. So here's some of the stuff I picked up at the mall yesterday.
Nosferatu. I know that he's ears. I know those ears, man. Is that the Malkovich version?
So the
Or the original? Oh, that's the original, not the Malkovich?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the original. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this movie, but my kids and I, everybody loved it. I don't care if you know how much I paid for them.
I didn't like Megan. She
Oh,
got taller in the second one.
Hold on. I liked Megan, and I'm looking forward to the sequel, even though as far as I can tell, it's not going to follow the possibilities brought up by the ending.
Oh no, a haunted doll, a female Chucky.
oh, come on. The satirical part of it was also funny because they were pointing out everything she was doing wrong that the audience would have said. You worked at a code you didn't even know anything about.
And come on, the Real Steel ending, I loved that. The fact that she literally was, for those, have you seen the movie Real Steel with Hugh Jackman?
Yeah.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots, yes.
Yes. Where he's doing the shadow boxing thing, and I'm like, that's essentially how they ended Megan. And I'm like, I didn't see it coming out. I know they did the Chekhov's gun earlier, but I didn't think they were actually going to bring it back to be the hero moment and ripping the girl the girl robot in half. I thought that was awesome.
No,
Real Steel exists. China has robot fighting now.
No, you know how I knew that was going to come up? Because once they brought it, I was like, okay, that's foreshadowing. I immediately caught they were foreshadowing that.
I thought they were okay. I recognized it as a Chekhov's gun, but it's not how I thought they were going to implement it.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to use it like more of because she goes, oh, the brain is not here, it's here or whatnot. That's how I thought they were going to bring it back. So the fact that they brought it back in a different way was even better. And
all right, my favorite.
Hey, speaking of remakes, what do you guys think about the new Running Man remake that's going to be with Edgar Wright directing it with Glenn Powell?
I don't know anything about it, and I'm going to mute myself real quick because of truck.
Okay. I know we're all Arnie fans, but what do you guys think about MD? What do you think about the new reboot for The Running Man with Glenn Powell?
The Running Man was Richard Bachman, pen name for Stephen King, and it is actually quite different from the book.
Yeah, I know, but they're making a remake with Glenn Powell.
Remember this cute little guy?
What?
Yeah, it makes me want to bump his nose and see if his head explodes.
And then we got Fatso.
But yeah, since we're talking about reboots, Captain MKG kind of brings up the fact that King of the Hill is coming back, and it's not a reboot per se; it's a continuation.
Yeah, Bobby's older.
Yeah, Bobby's finally aged up. Apparently, from what I understand, Dale Dribble is running for mayor, and
Hank is retired, not living in the same city in Texas anymore.
Well, he's moving back to Arlen. That's the whole joke.
Yeah.
My only concern is it's only supposed to be 10 episodes, and I don't see how they're going to do it because King of the Hill was a very static show. Other than like a handful of characters actually growing over the course of the series, 9 times out of 10, the characters were the same in each episode. So how are they going to do that in a 10-episode arc to actually show that anything progresses?
Captain MKG, I have not seen leaked footage. I've only seen the trailer. Usually I get access to that, but I haven't actually seen it, dude.
So yeah, I saw
Karate Kid Legends 2 days before it was out.
Yeah, there was a reboot. Since we were talking about reboots, there was a reboot that both my wife and I like very much, and that was the Lost in Space on Netflix.
Oh yes, that was great.
That was actually very well done, very different. I love what they did with the Dr. Smith thing. I thought that was brilliant.
Made him a monster. Love that.
We very much enjoyed it. My wife absolutely loves it. I thought it was great. I thought 3 seasons, good story.
All right, so Captain MKG says, someone revealed in an article, and take this with a grain of salt, that Peggy and Hank moved to the Middle East, so they missed a lot of things in the culture of the United States. I can see that happening, because, yeah, at the series finale, Hank basically moved to Saudi Arabia, I think. Was it Saudi Arabia, or was it somewhere else in the Middle East?
I think it was Saudi.
So yeah, it could be, interesting to see how that changes his perspectives on things. Considering he was kind of a stick in the mud.
He was a right-wing conservative.
No, he was not a right-wing conservative. He was a conservative through and through, but he was a progressive conservative. There was the difference, Elihu.
Actually, I thought of more of as a physical conservative.
Well, progressive conservative is primarily a fiscal conservative, yes.
Because my wife's a physical conservative.
All right, so he's right. It was Saudi Arabia from the article.
Oh, okay.
So I am looking forward to watching it. I don't know how much they're going to be able to accomplish in 10 episodes.
Why
Let's see, 10
episodes,
only 5 hours.
Episodes? Remember when things used to be 17 to 21 episodes per season? Now they have 10. Like, what the hell? They get no creative ideas anymore? Jeez. Yeah, is that the trailer you're talking about? I thought you meant the episode. I've seen the trailer.
Well, Elihu, this is the same thing that happened in the 90s. Back in the 90s, a lot of shows got these little continuations. Gilligan's Island got one. The Brady Bunch got one.
MASH.
I Dream of Jeannie got one. Did MASH have one too?
Yes, it was in the States in a hospital. Yeah, I remember that.
So it's something Hollywood has done before, and they did it again. They did it in the 50s with some of the even earlier stuff.
Oh yeah, they've done it with a lot of shows.
So it's a cyclical thing that Hollywood has done, and what media has done in the past as well. Because even look at books from like the 1800s. A lot of them were stories based around the knights and chivalry and stuff. So they were bringing back the nostalgia stuff. It's just something media has always done. It's cyclical.
Well, what was it? Happy Days had how many different spin-offs to it?
Oh my gosh. Mark and Mindy, Laverne and Shirley, Johnny Loves Chachi. Sheesh.
There were a lot of spin-offs off of Happy Days. Yeah. And what was it? All in the Family had a spin-off?
That does bring like an interesting thing. Like, what media property has had the most spin-offs?
It's a good question.
I want to say Star Trek. I want to say Star Trek because Star Trek has had 4, 5. Was 1, 2, 3? Well, if you include animated series, which I don't know, I don't know if I want to count the original animated series as a spinoff.
Actually, no, you're wrong, dude. It was Doctor Who.
I don't see how Doctor Who would be.
Doctor Who has Torchwood, Sarah Jane Adventures, Class, K9 Company, and Tales of the TARDIS. Star Trek, spin-offs, Generation, DS9, Voyager.
Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, Lower Decks, Strange New Worlds, Discovery. I wouldn't count Picard. I consider that a continuation. I wouldn't count the original animated series, but that already beats Doctor Who.
Okay, let's see. Hang on a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 on Star Trek. 9 on Walking Dead. 5 CSI. Shitless on Batman and Gundam.
Oh, Gundam, yeah, fuck, they got so freaking many.
Yeah.
And Batman, I don't know if I would. Okay, Batman is not really a spin-off as much as it is an adaptation. So I wouldn't count those. But like what and I don't know how to quantify Star Wars.
Let me see.
Because we could argue that there's the main trilogy stuff and lump that in. Spin-offs would be like The Bad Batch is a spin-off of Clone Wars.
Okay. Star Wars. The film spin-offs is Rogue One, Star Wars, Solo, and Mandalorian and Grogu. TV shows: Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, Andor, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, Acolyte. Lando is in development. Animated: Clone Wars, Bad Batch, Rebels, Resistance, Tales of the Jedi, Young Jedi Adventures, Vision anthology series. Video games: Jedi Knights of the Old Republic, Jedi Fallen Order, Survivor, Battlefront, Force Unleashed. Yeah, Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm not going to count video games, but I don't know if they. We'd have to lock down a definition of spin-off.
Okay, number one, Doctor Who, 400 plus TV audiobooks. Star Trek, 200 plus TV audiobooks. Star Wars, 150 plus TV audiobooks.
Again, I don't want to count that because then you'd have to count all the Star Wars books and comic books as spin-offs, which I wouldn't do. I'm talking about just television and movie media.
What about Big Finish?
I wouldn't count them either. The audio dramas are not, unless you're talking about the ones that they redid the cartoon stuff.
No,
I don't know.
We're counting TV movie spin-offs. Star Wars is 17 plus TV movie spin-offs. Star Trek is 13. Doctor Who is 10.
This is where you're going to run into a little bit of a problem because when Paul McGann's doctor crash lands, he mentions in the very end before he's about to regenerate into the War Doctor, multiple companions he had been with, and all those companions came from Big Finish. I recognized every single name because I had heard the audio dramas.
But I consider it from the same series, so I wouldn't. It's like saying that Power Rangers. Every season after Zeo, they rename the show. I wouldn't consider each of those a spinoff. I would consider each of them a continuation.
Yeah, Star Wars 17, Star Trek 13 to 14, Doctor Who 10.
All right,
Star Wars has the most spinoffs.
All right, I got a question for you guys since we were doing that. How about this one? Series that lasted way too fucking long and where you think they should have stopped. I have one in particular that always comes to mind. X-Files. X-Files went on way too long.
Season 10 should never existed.
Actually, a lot. Here's where I'm at with it. Honestly, it should have ended after the movie, the first movie. X-Files has been opened, and that should have been the end of it right there.
The bees! The bees!
That's what I would have. If I watch X-Files again, which I do plan on it, I'll be watching up to the movie, and then after that, I'm just out.
Well, I'm going to get some coffee because it's almost time for a commercial break.
Well, we still got a few minutes.
Yeah.
But
I got to get some coffee. I'll be back.
I think if we're going to have an argument about, spinoffs, it would have to be, we'd have to define what a spinoff is, whether, would we count Next Generation as a spinoff, per se, or straight up continuation?
I view it as a continuation.
Because I would argue that it could be both.
I've always seen it as a continuation.
So a true spinoff would have to be a whole new cast type thing, in my opinion.
Well, remember some years ago they tried to what was it? The last few years they were trying nostalgia stuff, like they brought back 90210, they brought back Melrose Place. I think they even brought back the Three Witches from that WB show.
No, Charmed. I don't know.
Yeah.
I never really watched any of those shows.
And what was a couple others? Yeah, they did those, and then they did Saved by the Bell, and then they did. They tried to bring back Punky Brewster, and it's kind of like, it's like, listen, we were kids when these were all teenagers. We don't want to see them as fucking divorced adults. Like,
well, I don't know. Hold on.
Reality in my life.
Hold on. I will say, because I was a huge fan of the show Boy Meets World when I was a kid.
Yeah.
The continuation, spinoff, whatever you want to call it, Girl Meets World, where he's a parent now and he's raising a daughter. I thought that was a really well done show. I liked it.
Well, I guess every now and again you'll get a good exception to that. Now, I hadn't seen much of Boy Meets World. So I didn't really know much about it.
But that's at least one example I can say was good.
With the
And again,
spinoff to Roseanne.
yes. And I will say what they've been doing with the Connors, I do enjoy. I do like it. And the only problem is it dates itself incredibly because it tries to stick with modern topics. And because of that, it's not going to be as timeless as Roseanne was, if that makes sense.
Yes. Well,
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it does reduce the rewatchability for the short term.
That's a show that lasted longer than it should have.
Roseanne? Oh, absolutely.
And they did a reboot too, and she was
I would
upset
say
because she wasn't in it.
I would say, yeah. Well, they did an internal reboot because they said that the whole second to last season never actually happened, and it was all a book she was writing. And I'm like, that's a lame cop out. Sorry.
Oh,
Dan didn't die of a heart attack after all.
Didn't they try to bring Will and Grace back, and they had to reboot the ending or something and explain that? Like, if you've got to go into this kind of stuff, that you really didn't plan this out. And then what they did, they just started out making fun of Trump after the election. Oh, they brought Murphy Brown back too. That lasted one season?
Mm-hmm.
They have Night Court coming. They have Night Court going back with what's her name from Big Bang playing the judge's daughter.
Actually, the ones I have seen, I haven't been able to watch a lot of it, but the first two seasons I saw, quite funny.
All right, and
I like
hold on.
their cartoon version
I want
of it.
to hold on. I want to respond to Captain MKG. I understand that the spinoffs include that kind of stuff. I would want to personally limit it to movies and television.
What about streaming?
Streaming would count as long as it's not a different media or medium like books or comic books or audio dramas or short stories or I would like even Shadows of the Empire I say would not count as a spinoff under the definition I want to use because yes, it was a book and it was a novel or a book, a comic book and a video game, even if it had a soundtrack, but it didn't actually have a movie or television series to be a part of it. So I would limit my idea of a spinoff to movies or TV. And like when I talk about like the difference between a continuation and a spinoff, I would not say Star Trek the Motion Picture is a spinoff of Star Trek. I would say that it's a continuation of that crew's that cast's storylines. So that's why I would count Next Generation as a spinoff and Voyager as a spinoff and Deep Space Nine as a spinoff. But Picard, I would not count as a spinoff. I would consider it a continuation of Next Generation.
Was the third season?
I would say I would say overall the entirety of it would be a continuation of Next Generation. Even if one of the main characters is from Voyager.
Actually, when you look at the whole thing, it kind of made sense. One of the biggest things I would have to say that, and yes, I'm going to be the first. I will say it. It's probably still up on my YouTube channel. When they showed us the thing for season 3, and I was pissed. I was like, "Go fuck yourself! You're too late." It's like you should have done this in the beginning. I was really pissed off, and then of course. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to end up watching it. I just got to see if they're going to do it right. And
Which one are you, hold on, which are you talking about again?
Picard season 3.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I was actually quite happy with it. The thing was, I don't need season 1 and 2, which I don't like. There's a couple soft references, but they're really not that important to matter, in my opinion. One of the biggest things they did that I was very happy about was something that always frustrated me in TNG. was we never got that conclusion about what happened to Ro Laren.
Well,
And-
we'll continue. Hold on. We'll continue talking about this after a break from our sponsors.
Avoid super battle droids, but not the super deals at SD GameSwap.
Bernard.
All right. So, as I said, if we're sticking to the idea between continuation and sequel, I still would say that Picard overall is a continuation of Next Generation, and it only solidified that even more so in season 3. When it comes to whether Picard was good or not, I've already made my position clear. I liked the first season, except that final episode. That final episode pissed me off royally. I thought the first episode was fucking fantastic. I just wish it held that momentum the entire time. And I know I just played the Bernard clip, but, justice for Ichib.
Yeah, that was pretty fucked up.
I mean, I don't mind that they killed off the character. I mind they didn't have him come back. I don't care if he's a weirdo nowadays. I want to see him back.
I love his post. The next day it aired. He's like, I just had a bad feeling that something was just right in my eye. I love that video he did.
Yeah, what did he say afterwards? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty screwed up. But no, I enjoyed overall a lot of seeing the characters, the growth and everything. Everybody seemed to get back in the straight, but like I said, the powerful moment for me was seeing that scene in the holodeck at the bar with Ro and Picard, and it being like, this is 30 years of emotion all coming out. And it's like, if they can't, if they're looking in each other's eyes and it's like, okay, this is Picard. It's like, they knew how each other felt. So it was, I thought it was very poignant. They actually did a cutscene where Rose survived. I'm like, I'm glad they left that out. I thought that was a more fitting end because I had the feeling that Ro was going to die in that episode.
I think the emotional attachment is what made it. It's what we needed. That it made narrative sense for her character to die.
Yes,
and the fact that Michelle, what's her last name, reprised the role makes it better. Thank you. No. Who played Ro Laren?
Oh shit.
Admiral Kane in Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, but what's the actress's name? I can't remember her name. I thought it was Michelle something.
Let me see. Hang on. Well,
I'm having a brain fart.
Yeah, 1 second. Michelle Forbes.
Thank you, Michelle Forbes. See, so it was okay for her to die. What they did to Ichib, I don't care that the character died. I cared that they didn't, have the same reverence, other than Seven's reaction. Everyone else, it's just like, who cares?
Well, one of the things was they brought Hugh back, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, if he gets a stab in the neck, he's dead. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
But yeah, overall, I liked Picard, except for that last episode. I'm sorry, the evil machine empire from far away. This is like, sorry, I don't like that idea. Season 2, I liked season 2. It was a story that probably needed to be told, but they probably could have gone deeper into it as far as I'm concerned, if that makes sense.
I just don't think it was worth an entire season.
Well, as I said, the ending of that season is what made it for me. The fact that Q basically says, even gods sometimes have their favorites. that kind of made sense for the reason the story took place to begin with.
I guess so. Like I said, I didn't really care for it, but that's okay.
In fact, what I would have preferred if they were to like redo Picard at all, I would have had it as season 2 be season 3 and season 3 be season 2. Because that
anybody noticing when they get to the Fleet Museum, did anybody notice the Enterprise NX had the refit put on it?
Say that again.
If you look at the NX-01, you'll see it.
Yes, it is Doug Drexler's refit design. Yes.
Yes.
I did see that. I like the fact that they made that canon. Because to me, that was like a good example of, you know, an actual refit for another design ship and make it fit the timeline better. Because I'll be honest, I never really liked too much the NX-01 design. To me, it looked like the love child of an Akira and a B-52. I'm sorry, a B-29.
I like the fact but yeah, I would have liked to have seen the next season if they had done it. They come out and they've got the refit, and that's the new NX. Or maybe at this point they call it the USS. I don't know yet when they went from NX. Because NX is mainly experimental. I mean, that's what it was for the Excelsior NX at the time. And then when Sulu got it, it was changed to USS because it had been.
Remember, even the Prometheus and the Defiant were NX registries before. So, yeah, it made sense. So I could easily see, like, and maybe even do an homage. Call it the Drexler class.
Drexler class?
Because Doug Drexler is the one who designed it, the refit.
That works.
So, yeah. And you could just say, we're just calling it that because, you know, he was the first president of Starfleet or United Earth or something like that. They could easily give an excuse as to why they're calling it that in universe.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you go back to like ILM when they were creating the ships for First Contact, the name Akira class was originally supposed to be just a placeholder name because they liked the movie Akira, you know, the Japanese anime movie.
Of course,
and they thought, sorry?
Of course, I know what Akira is.
Okay, just make it. Well, I'm just saying, they wasn't supposed to keep that name, but they ended up keeping the name, and I think in universe it's named after some captain early in the TOS era, and that's why they ended up calling it the Akira class. And you know, to me, that's fine. Go ahead and make up a reason why. It doesn't have to be great because it's still a cool ship looking. I mean, I like the Akira class, the NX less so.
Yeah, the Akira class is beautiful. Actually, I think this is one I don't have. I got to double check because I think the guy at my toy store has one. This one, the Akira class is kind of, you know, an imposition, you know, a different fit than the NX class because they put that on the bottom. This is on the top. Yeah.
As I said, to me, the NX looks like go back and actually look at a B-29 or a B-16 bomber, and look at the Akira class. If you merge those two things, that's the NX class.
Well, think about the Miranda class and why they still use it. It used to be a ship that average crew was about 200 something, and now an average crew is around 50, 60. But what is the great thing about a Miranda class? You can change it up for different assignments.
Well, I think one of the reasons they kept using that model is because they didn't care if they destroyed it. That was one of the reasons they kept using it. Same reason why they used the Enterprise B model for the Lakota in that one battle between it and the Defiant was because they were like, well, if we damage into the Enterprise B parts, we're not going to be worried too much.
Yeah, one of the things. Oh, what is that going? Oh, if you actually look at the Enterprise B and you look at the Excelsior, there are differences to each of the Excelsior.
Yeah,
both Excelsior.
And if you look at the except when they used reused footage, the Lakota is the only the only Excelsior that has the same differences in it because they use the Enterprise B model, not the Excelsior model, which I know is another weird thing to say because the Enterprise B model was the Excelsior model. They just glued on extra bits.
Well, the Excelsior model's still around too. Even it and the Miranda, I would say, be two of the longest serving in the Federation right now.
Yes, although they there was a Constitution refit in the Wolf 359 scenes because they reused the damaged model from Star Trek 3.
Yeah, I know they used a lot of different. Some of the things they used were concept models from concept models that were used for different classes.
Yeah, they used two of the Nebula study models. One with the extra nacelles, and so it had 4 nacelles, and one of them that had a different like saucer or extra bit on the back end. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I thought the Titan looked nice.
Oh, you've seen the review if you for my channel. Me and Caddy loved when we saw the Titan appear in Lower Decks because that was just an awesome scene. I don't care what you say. If you can say a lot of bad stuff about Lower Decks, but you cannot say that scene was not fucking awesome at the end of season 1.
So so you had in the Fleet Museum there the USS New Jersey, and
what class of ship was New Jersey then? Remind me.
Unrefit Constitutional class.
Okay.
So it was there. The thing was, this was kind of Metallic's tongue-in-cheek because he's from New Jersey, and the registry number was his birth month and year. And I thought it was interesting when they said this, that the cloaking device, they only recently found, like some time ago, the HMS Bounty, because apparently it had been cloaked the whole time. I was like, okay.
And I do like the fact that Lower Decks does an episode where they homage a lot of Voyager stuff by bringing the Voyager to the Fleet Museum, and then when we see the Fleet Museum in Picard, Voyager's there.
Yeah,
that was some good continuity. I'm sorry.
And then we saw the Enterprise refit. Enterprise, I think, no, it was the A. Enterprise A. Wasn't a Defiant in there too?
There was a Defiant class. I don't know which Defiant it was.
Probably the second Defiant.
It may have been the Defiant class. I don't know if it was either the Sao Paulo or the original Defiant, or it couldn't have been the original Defiant, but
no, it was I would say it would be the San Pablo.
Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo, sorry.
But what else? If we're going to talk Star Trek ships, I will say I got to talk about one ship that I've never liked from the First Contact stuff, and that was the Norway class. I'm sorry. To me, the Norway class looks way too fragile. I think that it looks like if it made a hard, turn to port or starboard, the nacelles would snap off.
I never really Constellation class.
The Stargazer or the Hathaway?
Yeah, either one. I never really cared for that one.
Does
See,
the
I did
Planet
like it.
Express does the Planet Express ship count? Because they did have the
No,
Star Trek nacelles on it.
no, because that's not a Star Trek ship. It's just it has the Star Trek ish nacelles for one episode. But what I let's see, okay, for the Stargazer class, or what actually is the class for that ship, or Constellation class? Thank you.
Constellation class.
I did like it because one, it fit with the idea. Because at first I didn't like it because I'm like, oh, it doesn't have a deflector dish. Then I'm like, well, neither does the Miranda, so now I'm going to give it a pass. But what made me like it was for that movie era, it added one more ship with the same type of nacelles, which I liked, and two, that thick ass saucer it has. I liked that aspect of it because it made sense, because it has those two massive shuttle bays.
You know, I always thought about this one. If they could find, if they could do it right, it would be interesting to see somebody play a young Picard, and then you have Jack Crusher, and you remember he was on the Stargazer as captain for 25 years. So you could start out with them getting there, you know, his growth when he takes over as captain. There could be some interesting things to it.
Well, the only issue I would have with that is that's kind of during the quote-unquote golden age of the Federation, where they didn't really have a lot of conflicts.
Yeah, I think the only conflict they had during that time was the border wars with the Cardassians. That's the only one they ever brought up.
So, I mean, I know the Enterprise C did the whole battle with the Romulans, but it's not like the Romulans were the huge threat the entire time.
Oh, sorry, C. That's right. Talk to you. Never mind. Sorry. Yesterday's Enterprise.
So, I don't know. And if you're going to do one of those Lost era things, you could easily do one with Sulu on the Excelsior. You could do one with Harriman on the Enterprise B.
Actually, the Sulu one was one I was actually hoping for back in the day.
I kind of was too. But now we'd have to recast everybody, including Tim Russ.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
yeah, what are you going to do, man? I mean, in my opinion, they missed their opportunity on that one.
At this point, I'd rather it be a movie. You know, do a single movie that takes place in the same universe. Go ahead and recast everybody. Do an Excelsior movie. Do an Enterprise B movie. Do a Picard Stargazer movie. And just have it be, Star Trek Excelsior, Star Trek, the third generation or something like that with the Enterprise B. Star Trek Stargazer, like the novels. Do something like that.
There's always a possibility.
And with Paramount Plus being a thing, you wouldn't have to put a shit ton of money into it. I mean, you could easily do it for, $20 million. Single movie, bring some subscribers in. Do a movie every couple of years, kind of like how Star Wars should have been done.
I would agree with that.
I just hate the fact that they're kind of sitting on a lot of the properties. I mean, it's like Stargate. I get so mad that, Stargate's a thing, but they're not, they have a built-in fan base. Just come on, come out with something. And I'm one of the people that disagrees with a lot of others. I liked Stargate Origins because it was a new Stargate edition. Keep the franchise alive.
Catherine. Yeah, we didn't even hear about Catherine.
But it was something.
It
was something to keep the franchise alive. That's what I liked. It's why I can never totally hate Discovery, because Discovery, without it, we wouldn't have some much better Trek later on. It kept the franchise alive and in the public consciousness. It's even why I can't hate the JJ films all that much, even though I think Into Darkness is probably the second worst Star Trek movie ever made.
Besides Cyborg.
No, sorry. I will die on this hill. The worst Star Trek movie ever made was Insurrection.
Okay, yeah, the long episode. Yeah.
No, it's because in my mind, Star Trek Insurrection was exactly the same plot as Star Trek Generations. Madman scientist wants to kill an entire planet's worth of people in order to gain immortal life.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the same basic premise. And the fact that it was only 2 movies later, sorry. No.
I do like that scene in when they show the Enterprise D and Picard season 3, and they go.
Nobody likes the fat ones.
Now, I thought that was interesting that they were using eagle moss because I recognized them immediately. I'm like, I have most of these, and yeah, I remember when they were talking. It's like, you know, Geordi's like, and we can't use the Enterprise E, and everybody's looking at Worf. He's like, that was not my fault. We never get an answer to it, but it's just like, okay. And Worf's like, that was not my fault.
You know, I think that's going to be a running thing with Worf, that they'll come back in a few years to explain it, just like they did with the Klingon foreheads.
Some point.
Klingons.
We're not going to. It's something we don't discuss with outsiders.
Yeah, we don't talk about Bruno. No. We don't talk about Bruno.
Well,
we don't talk about forehead, head.
Interesting. If you're not supposed to talk about Bruno, why do they have a whole song about him?
I was going to say, if you're really going to go into that, rewatch the movie and watch the first introductory song, because they mentioned we don't talk about Bruno in the introductory song, and then later on they have a full song regarding that one verse.
That's crazy.
And I liked Encanto. That was a good movie. And it still blows my mind that the tough chick from Brooklyn Nine-Nine plays the frickin' main character. The fact that to me, it's like 2 completely different voices. I couldn't believe they were that different.
You know, you want to hear something interesting? When Matrix came out with Keanu Reeves, the original, I honestly thought, I was like, are they just going to redo his movie he did a couple of years ago?
Johnny Mnemonic.
Yes, that's the one I was talking. That's the one I was thinking. Because immediately I'm thinking, are we doing Johnny Mnemonic again?
No, he was Johnny Mnemonic. He was a human with a storage, with a computer storage in his head. It was not like Johnny Mnemonic.
They had some similar concepts, but when it comes to the first Matrix movie, I really liked the first Matrix movie. The sequels less so, but at least they made sense. The requel I thoroughly enjoyed because of the meta narrativeness of it, all the meta context stuff, and the fact that it pissed off LDG so much.
I still hate that I could have been in the Matrix movie, but I can't run.
The one thing, well, for me, I like the first Matrix and the last one. First and fourth, I don't really like the second or third one, and actually, I'm just kind of glad I don't have to watch them.
To me, if I'm going to watch one, I might as well watch all of them, but I'll include the Animatrix.
Yeah, the backstory for the Matrix, yeah.
All right, Elihu. So, obviously, you know about the whole thing. What you already seen the spoiler for the regeneration.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, but there is something interesting I did notice. they said, they had Gatwa as the doctor, Whitaker as the doctor, and then all it said was introducing Billy Piper. Didn't say as the doctor.
Yeah, I saw the end credit screenshot.
Well, you can. I'm going to say this.
Yeah, she's not the doctor because when John Hurt appeared, it said John Hurt wore doctor, not just John Hurt as his character. She is not the new doctor because it would have said as the doctor. Because remember when Jodie Whittaker appeared, it was Jodie Whittaker as the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Billy's not the doctor.
And like you said, at the end of the name of the doctor. And John Hurst as the doctor.
Yeah, she is not the doctor.
All I'm going to say is this is not the first time.
Remember, she got absorbed into the, remember the time Matrix absorbed into her? That's why she was able to travel? So, yeah, I understand that part. RTD is going to explain this.
No, what I'm saying is it's not the first time we've seen him generating as someone we've seen before.
Capaldi did it because he said, why did I do this? Because it was a reminder of this face. That's why I generated this face. Yeah. The RTD explained Capaldi, so he should be able to explain Piper.
Well, the Sixth Doctor was he was the one who shot the Fifth Doctor, and he ended up becoming the Sixth Doctor.
Yeah.
So it's not that we haven't seen it happen before.
Yeah. But at least it wasn't a bi-generation this time.
I'm a little, I kind of saw that. I'm thinking, okay. I really didn't know what to think about it. I mean, honestly, I didn't know what to think about that.
Well, since I haven't watched that and I'm really far behind on my Doctor Who, I'm going to change the subject. All right, so apparently my son wants to start watching the Aliens and the Predator movies, right?
Okay.
So I started watching one of them with him. And it was yesterday after we were, driving back, and when some of the teenagers were doing their thing, since he was the only one that's, not a teenager, we started watching Aliens versus Predator, the first one. And my reasoning behind watching that one first, even though a lot of people don't like it, is one, it introduces both the aliens and the predators to him, so he gets to learn some of what's going on. And two, as weird as this is, remember, he's 10 years old. And Aliens versus Predator is a PG-13 movie, whereas most of the other ones are rated R. So I figured that would be a good start to get him into the franchise, get him prepared for all the other stuff that happens. So, do you guys think that was a good idea to start him out with that movie for the Aliens and Predator franchises? Or should I have gone with the actual original Predator or the original Aliens first?
Predator Ventura. He needs to start with the hardcore original. Then go to the Native American one, Brave. Then do AVP.
Well, again, the original Predator is rated R, for one. And two, let's face it, the original Predator and the original Aliens movies are slow to begin. Yeah. Almost like the first half of the movie, nearly nothing happens in both franchise or both films, except for the alien chestburster scene, obviously. And I don't think they would be able to hold his. Remember, he's also ADHD, so I don't think they would have been able to hold his attention as well as a newer movie that focuses on more action.
Why don't you just let him watch the TV show then?
What TV show?
Alien Earth.
There was one when my...
Wait. You didn't hear about the TV show? Dude, it's been trailers everywhere. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson was even one of the promos. It's an alien.
No.
It's a ship that's crashing toward Earth with an alien on it, with four other different alien species. They've yet to name what the other four alien species are or what they look like.
Wait, is it already out?
No, it's let me tell you when it's coming out. Hang on.
Okay.
Alien.
Elihu, why would I introduce him to a show that hasn't come out yet?
I said you should let him. You should have him watch this, not watch it. You should have him
But
watch
I'm
this.
saying that could be something we watch later. But I'm saying right now he started with Alien versus Predator.
Okay. Release date is shit. Be on Hulu and Netflix. Summer 2025.
So we got time. We got time to watch a couple of Aliens and Predator movies first.
Basically, Earth takes place from the perspective of a cat who's a resident pet on board the USS SCSS Magonaut. With its fur, it looks suspiciously like Jonesy. But the ship was crashing to Earth with four other five alien species on it. The trailer actually looks pretty intense. That's a nice teaser. And by the way, ND, if you're not aware, Ncuti Gatwa is the only doctor not to encounter the Daleks, Cybermen, or the Master. Somebody made a cool little chart from the Heart Nose Gatwa. I guess he needed himself.
Well, I was rolling up the window because another plane was going over. And yes, I've been eating leftover mac and cheese from yesterday.
The only thing I got to eat is pasta, spaghetti.
Well, I just
I am 173 away from cashing out. Let's see if that actually works.
I will say this. I think the advertising for on the daily videos is doing something because my selling totals for the first time this year hit over 1,000.
Nice. I've been retweeting
and that's for like a 30-day period. Usually I'm in the $700 to $900 range. I never hit 1,000 until like the end of summer when people have a lot of cash they're spending. And of course, I also hit it again at the end of November and early December for Christmas time.
Let me show you something.
End of May, I hit it. I'm like, wow.
I am going to.
It's got to be helping.
Okay, I need your help. I want you to sell something on consignment for me. I've been looking, and this. It's a marijuana 3D in place glass. It goes for about an average of $40 to $50.
Well, do you know who makes it?
No, I do not. It's no engravings on here. It's a solid piece of crystal with the 3D infused marijuana inside the middle.
Well, you just mean it's got the bubbles where it forms a three-dimensional marijuana leaf. Yeah.
Yeah, people. This is average about $40 to $50 online so far. I've been looking, but I have not found a marijuana. The average size for the glass thing right here, $40, $50. But marijuana, I'm saying 45.
Well, I could do some research on it, figure out how much they're actually selling for. Because as far as I know, they lost a lot of their value. Because all those if you don't know how they make those things, they just have the blank crystals. And they shine two lasers at 90-degree angles from each other. And everywhere they meet, they agitate the material of the crystal to form that little white bubble. And they just have it do a pattern, the two lasers, to make the three-dimensional display.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but they're very common. That's the issue. I mean, people can make them at home now.
Huh.
I mean, I've literally seen them with it looks almost like a 3D printer the way that the arms behave.
And I've also been looking. I also have a Jack in the Box Halloween antenna thing, and people are selling these for $15 online. That's the lowest I found. $15 on eBay.
Well, make sure you're looking at sold listings, not at what
Yeah,
people are asking for.
I have been.
Okay. What year is that one?
This was 2023.
Okay. As usually the like just after, or not just after, but after they stop selling them in the stores is when those things will start getting value.
It's still in its original packaging. Look at that.
And God, I was so disappointed with the Christmas tree ornament Jack toy they had this year for at Jack in the Box. Instead of it being the head with the thing on it, it was just a flat piece of plastic. And I'm like, what?
Oh,
No,
man.
it's supposed to be the whole head with, the antlers or the Santa hat or the elf hat or something along those lines. It can't just be a flat piece of plastic with a sticker on it. That's so lame. Who's going to spend $5.99 on that?
Not me. This was free on the app when I ordered, so I remember that. I'm like, hey, I can get $15 for it. Why not?
Damn.
But yeah, I can definitely put those on for you.
Okay.
Just let me, send me pictures, white backgrounds.
I use a black background.
Well, even if you use a black background, I can still mat it out, or I can chroma key it.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, because I prefer to take pictures of my black background when I'm selling stuff on black sheet. So.
And the way it works is if it sells, I send you a QR code. All you have to do is show that QR code to the post office, and they'll print out a label for you.
Yeah, that means I don't have to pay anything for shipping. I just got to show them that, print it out, and say goodbye.
You just show them the QR code. They print it out themselves. They attach it to the thing. So the only work you got to do is send me pictures and walk to the post office.
That's why I said, consignment, dude. Hey, a lot easier for me, and a little helpful for you.
I thought it was kind of going back to Doctor Who here. I've been kind of catching on the second season of Jodie Whittaker, or I'm about to after I finish
the scrunch face.
Huh?
The scrunch face.
Scrunch face.
Yeah,
oh,
she's known for scrunch face.
I actually thought that was cute.
Yeah.
No, I've known people who've had scrunchy. I've known girls who've had scrunchy faces like that. It's kind of a cute look.
I don't know why everybody hated that. I'm like, it's cool.
No, I found some of the things about it unique because she's like, man, if I was a bloke, you'd all be listening to me right now. And
yeah, I mean, Eccleston had his little eyes going up, whoop, and Baker had his, and she has her,
Oh, and did you see? I'll see if I can find it and send it to you, Elihu. It was a collection of clips of David Tennant doing his face, because apparently he did it like twice an episode. The amount they showed, where he's just like he has that confused open mouth where his upper jaw is stuck out further than his lower jaw, and apparently that was one of the things he did. Like,
what?
Always at an angle. I can't do it as well.
Yeah, one of the things I did do was I did watch the regeneration. I was just curious to how, and I thought having Elihu remind me. She sees First Doctor, the Seventh Doctor.
I'm gonna watch it after this. After done stream.
No, I thought it was interesting when they brought. I liked how she was doing that psychic thing, and it was like.
I haven't seen the episode. I just saw the images of what happened. I haven't actually seen any video footage, dude. I've only seen certain images.
Jodie Whittaker's regeneration?
No, of the new one.
No, I'm talking about Jodie Whittaker's.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm talking about hers, where she's in that state between, and there's Paul McGann, Sylvester McCoy, Is it
Eccleston.
Bradley Baker who's doing the first Doctor? Is that his name?
I forgot the guy's name who did it. Shit.
No, I just like the part where she does the thing and she looks at Paul McGann and like, what's up with you? I don't like robes. There's always
Sylvester.
one of us. Yeah, and
McCoy
then
was there. McCoy.
and then you had Paul McGann. She's like, I don't like robes. And he's like, there's always one of us. But there was
Explains
also
why he was in the suit.
no. What I liked was the way they did enter it in, where she was doing that psychic thing, then she was doing the psychic hologram thing, and she ended up looking like the incarnation of the Doctor they knew, which I thought was pretty good. I especially loved that they brought
Well, that's
Tegan
mine.
in. I thought the Tegan thing was a nice touch.
It was.
That was a very nice touch.
Have you seen the Ronnie's sonic screwdriver?
Looked like a
Yeah.
surgeon thing, right?
Yeah, a syringe, medical device.
Yeah, that's what it looked
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, that was pretty cool looking.
Sorry, apparently StreamYard just crashed on me.
It's not a CNA unless something happens, man.
Yeah, I was talking about the doctors who showed up with Jodie Whittaker. And,
Yeah. I still got to say I'm too far behind. The last thing I watched was Flux, and right now I still got to finish My Hero Academia. I want to go back and watch Daredevil, Echo, Once Upon a Time, Strange New World season 3.
Oh, that's what I went to go get.
I'm like so far behind, despite the fact that I listen to stuff while I'm working. I'm still way behind on all my watching. While we're waiting for him to come back, let me play another short. Let's see. Here we go.
Oh, buddy. You almost got yourself killed out there. What are you, some kind of adrenaline junkie? Must be rough being slow all the time. Tell you what, today is your lucky day.
Have you ever felt so alive? This is great. You're doing amazing.
Oh, geez. Good recovery. Let's keep this our little secret, okay?
And I will say the Archie comic is already gone. I had 2 copies of it, and both of them already sold. But everything else is still there. Let's see. What else could I play? That's short. I'm trying to think of stuff that won't get me copyrighted right now.
Yeah, I heard that intro there. I'm like, oh boy.
My name is Happy Gilmore.
Who are you?
I'm David Hasselhoff.
Hooray! So where's your boat?
Boat.
Go, Hasselhoff!
Next.
Oh, by the way, the Clayface show, Mike Flanagan, he says the script is based on the Batman episode Feet of Clay. The animated show. That's what the show's going to be based on. I'm like, okay, I remember that 2-part episode.
That was one of the best episodes of the animated series, so yeah.
I'm going to say this. I did not like the Batman movie, the latest one that came out, but that Penguin series was fucking to die for.
Well, I liked the Robert Pattinson Batman movie more than I thought I was.
It let me down. I was hoping for him to be a better detective than what he was. I was shooting for more than a
I'm sorry.
I wanted a detective.
No. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at something I just came across our feed. I thought it was just funny. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm a
It's about the Aurora. It's like, how do people? What's the Aurora prediction? Just go outside and look up.
Well, they kind of went out of the way to make it look like he was going to have to play detective a lot, and I really didn't feel they played into that strength of it. He's not called the world's greatest detective for nothing.
Yeah, I know. He just kept on missing clues. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
Well,
I fell asleep the second time I tried to rewatch it.
And don't get me wrong, like I liked The Dark Knight, but the Christian Bale's detective, and they're like, oh, he's going to act more like a detective in this one. It's like, no, that was just using a lot of fanciful technology that doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Hang on, I gotta mute this for a second. I gotta hear something.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll play.
Why am I drawing a blank on that actor's name?
Jeremy Irons and Jim Cummings. They both sang that part for the movie. That was part of the thing I was talking about in the short. Was at some point Jim Cummings, the voice of Winnie the Pooh, takes over for Jeremy Irons.
I remember watching on Netflix cartoons they made us when they were doing the He-Man Masters of the Universe stuff. And one of the things they did was they were talking to the voice actors, and most of them did multiple different voices for different characters. And they had the guy who played Skeletor, who did the Skeletor thing. And they said, all right, well, what do you want him to sound like? And he came up with it, and that's where he came up with the nasally thing. It's like, well, he's a skeleton. He's going to have a skeleton voice. So he's like, okay, I'll go for the nasally thing. And then he pulls it out. And he actually, I guess, did not add the laugh until later.
I will still say I enjoy Oscar Welles's Skeletor things that he does every day. The fact that he's been doing that for years now is amazing, to be honest.
Who's that?
Have you not seen the Skeletor PSA things?
Oh, public service announcements?
Where he goes, like, remember, yada, 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 something funny punchline.
Remember, if you breed chickens, you are a chicken tender. Until next time.
Yeah, he's been doing those daily. I want to say for like 5 years. He's fucking amazing. The fact that he can keep making them every friggin' day is, yeah.
Remember, if you're a doctor, every appointment, every meeting you go to is a doctor's appointment. Until next time. I love those things.
I actually like that because that's funny.
There was even somebody, I don't know what convention it was. I want to say Comic-Con, but I was only out of San Diego Pride, where someone had like a little, voice thing on their, that they had in their hand. And what they were doing was they had like 100 of his little clips to set off to go off randomly. And when they hit the button, they were dressed as Skeletor and they had a servo in the jaw. So when they hit the button, it would send a signal to the suit they were wearing, so the jaw would move in accordance with the clip being played. So they'd hit a button and it'd be like, remember, God, I can't remember anything offhand on like, Eliu being able to pull out, but it's funny as all hell.
Oh yeah, his memes are a trip. I do love them when they pop up.
Hang on.
Well, I actually subscribe to him, so I get the daily notification.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find some of his posts real fast. Hang on a second. Where's my saves? I gotta hit each. Okay. Where is it? Come on, Skeletor. He's around here somewhere. I got a lot of saved feeds. Come on, Skeletor. Okay. I might keep talking. I'll have to scroll. Oh, here it is.
Hey, what happened with that Masters of the Universe? Was Kevin something was working on?
I have no idea. Last I heard from Kevin Smith, he was talking about the Dogma anniversary,
Mm.
which I didn't get to see. I wanted to see it in theaters, but I just didn't have time.
You know, it's ironic how.
Here we go.
We meet again. Remember, a dog is either a bitch or a son of a bitch. Until we meet again. Remember, people who wear glasses are paying to see normally. Until we... Remember, salt is the only rock that is socially acceptable to eat. Until... Remember, if you were born in the 80s, raised in the 90s, and made it to 2025, you have lived 5 different decades, 2 centuries, 2 different millenniums, and you're not even 50 yet. Until...
Yep.
That's me.
That's me.
Remember, the letter Z is just a 7 on its knees.
Is a what?
7 on its knees.
Oh.
Remember, one day you will be someone's ancestor.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Remember, if you sit on the toilet at 11:59 and the clock strikes midnight, it's literally same different day.
I was looking for that one.
As I said, Oscar Wells, you know, I know you're not watching, but we're fans, man. We're fans.
Okay.
Remember, Superman could hear all the intimacy his parents had in great detail before learning to control his powers.
I did not want to think about that.
All right.
This is Nerd Chat, so hey.
Oh,
All right,
God.
I'm gonna end the stream a little bit early because I don't want to smoke another cigar. I want to finish my coffee. So I think let's go ahead and go with the prison song because we haven't heard that one in a while. And then I'm gonna replay the Vile Style birthday clip because I get too much joy out of it.
Bagda tumo shoja duro yaja ke o yaja ke o yaja ke o.
Buy something at SD GameSwap or I'm going to put all of you in a cargo container and transport you to the Borg.
Please, son of a bitch. Run! It's cool!
Happy birthday, sweetheart!
So worth it.
I heard her. So worth it. Yeah.
I love Caddy at the end. Yeah, that's so worth it.
So worth it.
All right. I'll see you guys next week. Later, folkses.
Later, weirdos.
Fuck off.